All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to move on to Game 4 out of 6 on this final league play day in HGC China. And as Tetra hinted towards, this series could, in theory, be a very, very important one, depending on what the results are going to show us. If Beyond the Game wins 2-0 over SPT, which is quite the thing to do, then all of a sudden the race for rank 3 is going to be a close one. But our Chinese colleagues, Tetra, they have a pretty clear statement here. They are saying SPT is going to win this easy.
I am less sure. I think there's a good chance of it, but honestly, the way BTG had played yesterday against the 1, I think there's a reasonable chance of them taking a 1-1 or maybe even a 2-0.
But I think, as you said earlier, Beyond the Game needs a 2-0, right? They need a 2-0.
Yes, because right now CE are exactly 3 points ahead of them. Assuming somehow BTG manages to pull off an amazing pulls off an amazing play and 2-0 CE, then BTG would tie with CE, and there would be a tiebreaker between the two. Otherwise, it's pretty much them guaranteed 4th place.
Exactly. So, while I agree with you, I think a 1-1 is pretty much doable, considering how well Beyond the Game has played as of late and considering how weak SPT has looked against CE earlier this day. A 2-0 is definitely quite a lot to ask for, especially against SPT, who are probably going to be quite angry, probably going to be very focused and stern about this series. I think Misaka just disappeared behind his PC and his monitor there. I hope he's still there.
Hiding. He is hiding. But yes, we have in the meantime BTG, their first and only game of the day. 619 LLK, Druid Dancing, and 3. What would consist of Druid Dancing?
Consistent Druid Dancing.
They consist of Druid Dancing. What would Druid Dancing consist of?
Oh, Druid Dancing. Probably,
Yeah.
you know, swing a couple of leaves, maybe have some incense burning. I could see that.
Okay. I could see that as well. But for now, like we said, BTG have yesterday especially looked really good. Against CE today, SPT did not look so good. It was a very nice play by CE in general, but perhaps this could be demoralizing and this could play in BTG's favor.
That is correct. That is very true. All right. So, let's see what Beyond the Game has in store. If they've ever prepared anything special, anything secret, it might be time to bust it out to maybe catch SPT off guard, who would look far from being unbeatable today, as we saw with CE dismantling them twice in a row with fantastic drafting. Once again, I can't be happy enough about how CE drafted against that hyper aggression with double blind, you know, against the double support Vala. So well done. And then, of course, the aggression themselves with that Karazim in that final game. A beauty to watch. And SPT, you know, look at that KDA actually by Beyond the Game is surprisingly good.
Yeah. They've built it up over time. They are working their way up, and once again, their matches versus the 1, both of them looked like they could go in favor of BTG. They couldn't close them out. So let's see if they will be able to versus SPT and once again pad that KDA score. But the tail of the tape overall still looks a little bit in favor of SPT, and that is reflected by the position in the standings. As baby. BTG immediately take us to Praxis, they have a bit of a vendetta with this map, as this is where the 1 was able to just steal victory from the claws of defeat against BTG yesterday.
And honestly, Tetra, I like that move by Beyond the Game, because as you said, only at the very end where they robbed that victory that they had so close already. If that final push goes through with that, you know, Zerg wave with all the other goodies they had, it's going to be game over. But because of that lightning speed reflex by Thrall, by Falset, by the 1, they were able to backdoor the core. So up to this point, up to the backdoor, Beyond the Game almost played flawlessly, right? So if they repeat that success, if they repeat playing so well against SPT without getting backdoored themselves, I think they're going to be in a mighty fine position.
And this is also going to be new Braxis, remember, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Braxis with, yes, Zerg. With the upgraded Zerg, when you have the lesser Zerg wave, it is now better. That is as simple as the change as it was. And the more important change, however, is if 2 people are standing on the point together, it no longer pauses where it was. It will immediately start moving down to the neutral state.
Exactly, which results in longer brawls, longer skirmishes around the beacons, One team can no longer just stay on it and keep it occupied as long as there's a hostile enemy team member. It's always going to go down to that neutral sweet spot, as Tetris said already. So, a little bit less snowbally, a little bit more, I should say more fair, because I think if you're contesting it, it felt always a little bit lame, you know. All the enemy team had to do was just stall and buy some time. La da 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 da, can't touch me. We're still gonna get those Zergs, and then you ended up getting nothing out of it. So
unfortunately, this change has been an indirect nerf to Rexar.
Absolutely true. Bisha can no longer be that farming or that holding bot, you know, that you put on that beacon without the enemy team being able to do anything about it.
Denied. But as the draft continues, Malfurion Hanzo, very classic, coming in here for BTG. They love their Hanzo, and Druid, well, it's in his name. He is very good on this Malfurion, but that's dangerous coming in from SPT.
All right, looks like they're going to have to throw some leaves onto the tank, onto Sergeant Hammer. Let's see if they can
Imagine if that's all it took.
Yes.
This is the most up-to-date piece of Terran engineering we have. Leaves. Oh man, it's all in the treads and everything.
Yeah, who knew how hard the lumber can be that comes from Kalendor?
Oh dear, yeah, iron leaves. That's bound to be a thing. As we do see the with the Malfurion on the board, Cassia being removed. Not Cassia, sorry, Johanna being removed. The other one that blinds against them. They don't want someone who's just going to absorb all of those Hanzo hits. And Chromie being removed because, well, they're a bit afraid. It's Sergeant Hammer. You always want to get rid of a Chromie against a Sergeant Hammer.
I'm going to call the Alrak here for Beyond the Game. Not only is it an Alrak special that LK almost plays to perfection, best Alrak in the league hands down, but it could also be very good against Sergeant Hammer, and there it is. Swap that Hammer into the backline, especially in those extended laning phases. I am very, very happy with that move by Beyond the Game.
And the Alarak is, like you said, it is a very high priority choice, and it very much does work for them in terms of the amount of kills they can get. The problem I have with it is Zerg wave clear.
Yes, that could be a little bit of a problem. I fully agree with you, but in return they have Hanzo. They can still go for someone else that has at least a little bit of wave clear. Alarak, if all things go south, he could still be played as a solo laner against Dahaka. In that case, you actually pick up, let's say, a mage like Gul'dan or Kel'Thas to deal with that Zerg pressure. Let's see which path they're going to go for.
Running it down the time of Wise. And
okay,
the Junkrat. So Junkrat could also fill the solo lane if they want to stack up Alarak in the group.
That is correct. So I personally thought I would see a Jaina or a Kel'Thas here, but completely agree with that Junkrat call. As you said, it could be a solo laner against the Haka. Superior range, good wave clear, good escapes just in case there was a gang to go down. And Alrak on the flip side can also be played in both sides or both lanes. So already that could be a lot of punishment on a Sergeant Hammer that gets caught off guard, right? Concussion mine, the swaps by Alrak. So siege tactics, very, very important.
The most important. I still think that even not taking siege tactics is a mistake. Except we saw one game, I think, in EU where they did go for a generative biosteel and it won, but it was a little bit of a lower level game, if I remember correctly. So either way, just siege tactics is good. Just pick it. It's good, man.
It really is, especially against a hyper CC heavy machinery that BTG has deployed here with that Alrak, as we said. So now that we see these drafts, a more standard classic Sergeant Hammer composition by SPT and a more exotic Alrak anti-hammer composition by BTG, who would you give sway to?
I mean, it's LOK on the Alarak. So I really do like that. And he's going to be able to get so much damage with that lightning, with those silences. Junkrat is going to... They have so much CC, Concussion Mine, and Telekinesis. But it's a really solid hammer comp with great defense. I'm leaning towards SPT.
I would agree with you. I think experience is the key to victory here, and SPT have so much experience gathered over the years. With SPT, the super perfect team, deployed on the left-hand side with Lucky on that Phoenix, Sorry, on that Falstad. Melody C on that Sergeant Hammer. Misaka on the Muradin. And then we have, of course, yeah, whatever. Take over, Tetcher. They're too fast for me.
BTG 619 on Garrosh, LLK on Alarak, Druid on Mafurian, Dancing on Hanzo, and 3 on the Junk Rat. And the ones you missed was Soap on the Dehaka, and it is going to be ZJZ. ZZH. Oh, got my Z's wrong. Playing the Decade Kane.
All those Z's on the Chinese support players.
Too many Z's.
There we go.
But don't sleep on this game. Hey! Wingman coming in for Falstad.
So both teams trying to figure out their rotations, trying to figure out their lane distribution here. Already we can see a double lane potentially coming in. No? Falstad with a double global is taking his sweet time. Wants to scout out where the 4-man push is incoming by BTG.
I love his hidden position. He's waiting for Junkrat to do his bush scout so that he can move in and potentially attempt the gank play here. However, Steel Trap.
Steel Trap and Concussion Mines, 2 formidable tools to keep those gankers at bay and keep Junkrat safe and sound for now. Now, I wonder who's going to pull the global trigger first. Is it going to be Falstad or Dehaka coming down to the bottom? Or are they just going to keep up that 3-2 push? I mean, with that Sergeant Hammer, they already have decent wave clear. It's very unlikely for them to get pushed out of this as well with the Decker Kane. Hold that thought. Misaka jumps to safety. LK on the chase.
I am 100% of the opinion that they should stick with this 3-2 push. Melody C, he's gone for the extra radius on his auto attacks here, which means he's going to have great wave clear. He's going to hold this lane. Maybe not completely. It will take damage, but he will hold it. In the meantime, the less people are down here, the better, because extended lightning coming in for Alarak, going all in on that lightning damage, so that's a huge problem. Now you can see the second Garrosh left, SPT put pressure on, keeping everyone down here. That is a lovely scroll of ceiling, great damage being dropped here. Did he go for the extra stacking damage? No. Extra spell power this time. But the fact is, the pressure is being added, the Zerg wave is not going to tick up, and all this time, Junkrat's going to be in trouble. He's going to be zoned out. Top lane will take damage, whereas bot lane will be cleared by the Sergeant Hammer. And all this time, Falstad will be able to gain bribe stacks.
And here comes the rotation, SPT. SPT's top laners have been warned, of course, that this was about to go down. And only Hanzo now laning against 3 members. 2 now, I believe, because Misaka might be on his way already. No, they're just scouting. You know, they don't want to get backdoored here and ganked by the members of Beyond the Game. Looks like both teams are now mirroring each other, taking down those fire bats early. Fire bats, of course, very dangerous siegers. And if left unattended, similar to the Knolls on Alterac Pass, on the newest battleground we have in Heroes of the Storm, they apply damage reduction, armor reduction to enemy structures, and they can push like crazy.
Hey Kendrick, you ready for me to be a pedantic StarCraft nerd?
Hey, go for it.
Pushes up glasses. Actually, these are Hellbats. You can tell because they have the wheels on them, which means they could, in theory, transform into Hellions. And that is the StarCraft 2 version of the Firebats.
Thank you so much, Seth. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Pushes glasses back up. Druid gets taken out. Nice gank by SPT there.
I mean, you are Sherlock Tetcher after all, and I'm just Dr. Switch, so you feel free to correct me all day.
If Sherlock Holmes played a video game, I assume it would be Heroes of the Storm or StarCraft, as we do see Lucky holding the point for the moment, once again giving a 3 a very rough time, and Sergeant Hammer raining down the pain onto anyone who tries to take control of this control point.
All right, this mercenary camp though in the bottom is doing a lot of work for Beyond the Game. Not only is it going to provide some extra pushing, but it's also going to draw away the attention. Right, Melody C is now busy dealing with those Goliaths. Is that correct, Tetcher? Are they called Goliaths? And the Raven?
They are Goliaths and the Raven. You have got that one. Nice.
There we go.
As we see them taking down Goliaths, they were so good that they joined the game for approximately a month in the beta and then got removed again. I think they're back now. I haven't actually played a lot of Legacy, so my apologies there. Either way, we do have negatively charged coming in for Alarak. It is the full damage build, the infinitely stacking lightning. He can get a monumental amount of damage from this.
All right, so now the lanes have gone back to their original state, if you will, a 4-man lane for Beyond the Game. They're trying to put on a little bit of pressure onto the Sergeant Hammer. Let's actually take a look at how well 3 has been able to defend here. Both towers, I believe, were still standing, so that's definitely a good job done by him. Now look at Misaka, though, maybe overdoing it. Here comes the double global 5-man assault onto BTG by the super perfect team. One might even call that the super perfect gank. Double global feels good.
Perfect or not, it was pretty spot on. Achieves the double kill as they are moving back up to the top lane. Hammer actually gets flipped by Garrosh. That should not happen. But able to back up into potions, gets healed up, and with the double global back in top lane, Junkrat will be zoned away, and this will be the percentage beginning to tick up for SPT. They already had 6% before they were able to reclaim top here.
Yeah. Once again, even if Beyond the Game were to lose this with 0%, keep in mind this is new Braxis, guys. So a Hydra, an Ultralisk, and some other reinforcements will still spawn for that weaker Zerg wave. So BTG would get at least a little bit of value out of it, and that also makes the map a little less snowbally. The roots are good, though. The scattering arrows have also connected. Now, can they lock someone down? Misaka, they're so hard to kill. ZZH on duty, double duty, actually, keeping everybody alive with those potions. Varian would not approve.
Zappity zap, lots of damage coming in from Lucky. I don't know if he has any bribes, has used any of his bribe stacks yet, because he actually helped come down for at least the Hellback camp. Oh, Hammer swears those siege tactics gets taken out, and that is going to be a kill for BTG. They're first of the game as they put great pressure onto this bot lane.
And that's exactly the target they wanted to go for as well. Now, without the hammer, they're really lacking the damage, the wave clear to keep those minions at bay, and that should be another easy peasy tower if Beyond the Game were actually committed to getting it, and I think that's what they're exactly going to be doing here.
Zap zap as we see all the damage coming in. LK positioning himself, looking for the double lightning, but no, Misaka pushes himself a little bit away from ZZH. That could have been a stack. Instead, it goes onto the structure.
And I think a lot of responsibility now lies on the shoulders of 3 here on that Junkrat player for Beyond the Game in the top lane, right? Because he's going to have to give his, or provide his team with valuable information as to how these double global heroes are going to spawn and rotate. So now with him not having a vision over his laning opponents, he's probably going to give the information like, careful guys, they might come after you, careful. And the moment he sees them back in lane, he can actually allow Beyond the Games in the bottom to play a little bit more greedy. And look at that. SPT is playing with vision on purpose. Dahaka staying in the middle of the lane so he doesn't give the information over to 3.
Scatter arrow comes out. Doesn't actually land anyone. Lucky with a nice barrel roll with this global gank coming in here. Dahaka has not come yet. Being patient, but he can join at any time, and that's the scary part here for BTG, which is why Druid, you can see, is so far back trying to avoid this. But right now, Channel is being held on neutral. Alarak's very far forward, should be careful. A good amount of CC could put him in trouble as the double channel is beginning here. As can they move back in? 619, in fact, grabs the fountain. This will be their attempt to move in and try and steal this. Moving on to LDC, who immediately knocks back 619 and just eats a scatter arrow.
Yep, so much damage now onto Misaka on the bird, and the dwarf lives, though. Can we say the same about 619 and the garage?
Misaka just got ping-ponged around. Here is the Dahaka. Good silence from Alarak, saving dancing there. But the huge scroll of ceiling setting up for such a nice engage. Sleep is used. Don't wake Melf. Wake up, Melf! Wake up, Melf! Down he goes.
Malfoy, he was in the Emerald Dream again. He should have woken up a long time ago.
He should really pick a better time to use that. Like, if you're going to use the Emerald Dream, at least make sure you're in a bed or something. Or at least in a grove. As we see 619 taking a little bit of damage, able to back up into his own base. But that was a really nice gank. Perfectly timed, well delayed by the Dahaka. And they even killed Garrosh just now. Not sure how or when.
Yeah, you know, sometimes Garrosh players, they get a little ahead of themselves. They think that their armor is going to protect them against all sorts of damage. And while it does do that on paper, sometimes when you're low and the Sergeant Hammer hits you, combined with that CC provided by Murden and Dahaka, and Decker Kane, and you're going to get blown to pieces. And here comes the Zerg Wave, the mighty one, in the bottom. Look at the top, though. There's going to be roughly a 40-50% Zerg Wave still pushing against SPT.
It's nice to have those bigger Zerg Waves now, even though it is a losing Zerg Wave. So much tougher job for Dahaka, but you can see he's cleaning it up fairly well. You can see that number ticking down at the bottom of your mini maps, ladies and gentlemen.
Riptire assault.
Push from downtown. That's coming in from mid-jungle. Cleans out the majority of the Zerg here as Junkrat rotates through the middle of the map, going to rejoin his team to help with this wave clear.
Yeah, you know, a little bit of wave clear provided by a pseudo-global Riptire ult coming in from 3 on that Junkrat. In the meantime, though, they didn't have anyone soak in the top lane. And as such, the experience gap is starting to widen and expand a little bit in favor of SPT. And that Alrek I was so fond of during the draft, unfortunately hasn't really unfolded its true potential up to this point, I feel. Too good is the protection coming in from SPT. too good is the global pressure they've applied as well.
That global pressure especially proving to be a pretty severe problem. BTG though, they're looking to stabilize. They're going to grab control of a mercenary camp. Top lane still alive. Junkrat has also pushed up top lane pretty hard thanks to that Zerg wave. You can see top 4 for SPT, even with a 1 Zerg wave, got dropped quite low.
Yeah, Sergeant Hammer, by the way, of course, we didn't really talk about the heroic ability choices too much. Not going for the BFG, but going for the Napalm Strike. So more wave clear, I presume, like more reliable wave clear, and more sieging coming up.
This map, I'm okay with it. The extra wave clear, I mean, Hammer is in no way lacking wave clear, but when you're against the Zerg, you need a lot more than you would normally have for a lot of heroes. Like, in a lot of teams, Jaina has enough wave clear or something like that. Oh, Misaka, back over the wall again. Jaina can be enough wave clear if you're just rotating. When you're against the Zerg wave, you need more.
Good damage, though. You can really see how scary, how threatening that 5-man unit can be from beyond the game, right? So much CC, they almost had Misaka there yet again. But look at that. By placing all 5 members there into the top lane, they completely abandoned the bottom half of the map. Soap already trying to find out where the rotation is going to go to, but good play by Junkrat. He went the safe way and didn't get intercepted by a cheeky tongue.
Misaka hovering around, looking to see if there's anyone worth diving onto and to prevent any rotations from 619, potentially looking for a sneaky play. Speaking of sneaky plays, 619 was thinking about it. Instead, he's going to make the much more forward approach strategy, and Misaka just show himself for that.
13 is still there for SPT, and it's still not there for Beyond the Game, so they're going to have to be a little more patient. Junkrat is trying his best, but look at how patiently, look at how passively he ends up playing against that Dahaka, because at any given moment, could there be another Falstad coming in? Like, I can't stress enough how much the double global is messing with Beyond the Game's vision and mindset, right? Can we actually go there, or are we going to get ganked? Is it safe to be here? Is it safe to do this and that? For now, though, I think there might be a team fight erupting soon in the top lane. Both teams are gearing up.
You see Misaka beginning to channel up the point. It does reach the channel amount here. 619 moves onto the point just to neutralize it here. Riptide will actually die here. Nice job by Lucky. Gotta love that skin. As we see Soap wrapping around from the side, but he gets closed in on, has to back up.
Scroll.
But they turn around. Oh, that was interesting.
That was amazing.
Back onto the Riptide 3. Not the Riptide 3, sorry, the Concussion Miner 3 escapes. In the meantime, everyone else on BTG is dying. The Dahaka goes down, Druid being chased. Another great drag. Good throw by Garrosh, though. Keeping Druid alive. Is it going to be enough? Yes, it is, with that Concussion Mine to zone.
That was amazing, actually, the interaction there with the Concussion Mine and the Dahaka drag. Going for the air tongue, or whatever we want to call that one. So for now, Soap already doing such a formidable job at keeping the enemies at bay. Lucky flies in as well. Malfurion is in trouble, cornered against the wall. He's not going to make it out alive.
They're looking for Garrosh too. He is quite tanky though. Drops the Indomitable to make sure he has the best escape route, and he even gets a Warbringer. Finishes up his Warbreaker stacks in the process.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that right now SPT is absolutely in charge, in control of that game. Sergeant Hammer is untouched. The Dahaka and Muradin combo works like a charm, providing so much counter CC actually to those engaging warriors like Garrosh, the engaging melee assassins like the Alarak. It's actually Beyond the Game who's on the run the entire time, when they, according to the draft, wanted to be the ones putting on the aggression.
That's what they wanted to do, but it ain't happening as the Sergeant Hammer creeps in slowly, just wrecking 619. Oh my god, there's the napalm. Good heal though with his self-heal. Riptide coming in. 619 will die here. The Riptide got actually caught in the scroll of ceiling there, but it's still going to be enough to kill off the Garrosh.
Here comes Soap, though. They're now reunited. 5 people pushing in towards this. They've got really good range on that Sergeant Hammer. As long as they protect the tank, they might even get the keep, but not if it falls like that. A little bit of an overextension. Beyond the Game, maybe with a comeback now.
But down goes the Malthael, sorry, the Alarak with the sleep. They're now going to try and take out Junkrat. The keep goes down.
Oh.
Soap is low, but Junkrat is down. Now Dancing is the target. There's a fountain here. Dodges the Storm Bolt, using that fountain. Nicely done by Dancing, but the keep still fell.
The keep still fell, and if you look at the minimap, ladies and gentlemen, it is still in a very healthy condition. The map is still in a very healthy condition for SPT. While the top fort is looking a little bit shaky, the bottom one is still remained most of its health, and that is, of course, mostly because of that double global, defending twice now so well against this improved Zerg wave coming in for Beyond the Game. And look at that, they're trying to find an opening here to maybe go for another gank. Bribe goes through, and another Siege Giant camp pressuring the top now against BTG.
So now, with top BTG having to defend top lane, where are we going to see SPT put their priorities? Would they potentially pressure a boss? For now, they're starting with the Hellbats. The Goliath camp, the Goliath and Raven camp being taken out pretty quickly by BTG to try and put some counter pressure onto the spot lane so they can put more focus onto top. And that is going to be the result here. They're going to send everyone else up here, but SPT, they are once again playing very passively. Even with the 16 advantage, they don't want to risk taking a boss yet.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the only winning condition for Beyond the Game at this point, right? Catch the enemy team off guard while doing a boss and take it away. It's what happened against them when they played the 1. So I think Beyond the Game especially is going to be very careful on how they approach those bosses, man.
Push comes in from SPT, cleaning up that Goliath camp, completely removing any of that D-push that was expected. But at least the Hellbats were killed off very quickly by BTG as well, once again preventing any kind of extra XP gain. Alarak once again having pure faith in his team, going with pure malice. So in the extra up to 40% hair sadism stacks is going to be quite nice.
And right now, you know, Beyond the Game, all they can do is turtle it up. But as we talk about it, Garrus gets caught. Does have the tankiness and the shielding though, so if it happened to any other hero, I think that would have been a kill for sure. But yeah, Beyond the Game, all they can do at this point is turtle it up and wait for SPT to come a little bit closer. Almost LK was going to get trapped there by another Scroll of Sealing. And can we just highlight the timing and the aiming onto ZZH's Scrolls of Sealing? In every single team fight, we've seen at least one that captures 2, 3 or more heroes at the same time. So
it has
well
been
played by him.
very effective. And with that Scroll of Stone Curse as well, it's been doing a fair amount of damage to the last 2 levels, which is very irritating for BTG. Dahaka, AFKing in top lane, waiting for that beacon to spawn. He will immediately capture it, and he's going to help his team preparing to burrow while staying hidden from vision, while catapults begin to pressure the core.
I was going to say, that is of course now a race against time for Beyond the Game. The moment they have catapults on the core, they're going to have to send one person back. But guess what? They are not enjoying the luxury of having global heroes. So actually getting baited into the remaining team members of BTG, tries to buy time. The Riptar says hello, and Soap says goodbye. And this was a pick that Beyond the Game really wanted to have.
It's a really big deal right now, which means they're going to be able to actually get the channel here. Are they going to be up to maybe do a split and see if they can get their first double channel? Yep. It will be risky, but they do currently have the man advantage.
That is correct, but it's really hard to outmaneuver this double global. Well, now it's single global, so Falstad could still try to maybe distract them. Look at Junkrat, though, flying in and reporting for duty, and that's exactly what they were trying to do, SPT here. While the fight is raging on the bottom, lucky on that Falstad, already taking back the top beacon.
But Junkrat, he's also rotated back to top. He's trying to duel against the Falstad, give his team the best chance. But like you said, it's the issue. Falstad waiting perfectly, even though it's a 3 versus 4 right now. BTG can't afford to do it. And even if they rotate now up the top lane, they're still going to lose bot, and that means that they might actually even lose a percentage or 2. In comes a nice silence onto Muradin. This could be their chance. With a man advantage, they're going to try and take down Misaka. The sleep is used, though, from ZZH. Gust onto Mafia, completely removing any of the healing for BTG. Good silence, so LOK 1 versus 1ing the Falstad as ZZH and Misaka pick up the Hanzo and the Junkrat and the Malfurion. We are going to see LOK and 619 escape, but now there is a boss, double channel, and this might be SPT going for an end.
Yeah, Tetra, and this is the problem, right? When the only member available for BTG to collapse on, to focus on, is the Muradin. And it's not necessarily Beyond the Game playing this one poorly, right? It's mainly SPT playing it well, because they never show any exposed heroes with the exception of Muradin. So at some point Beyond the Game, who realized, you know, if this goes on any longer, we're going to lose the core eventually to the catapults. They wanted to make something happen. They didn't want to let go through another Zerg wave for their opponents. And unfortunately with Muradin, he was too hard to kill, and I think at now, the formation has broken, and Beyond the Game is going to feel the consequences.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. The boss pushing into the least pushed lane. Guess where it is? The lane where everything else is, including the Zerg wave. This is a nightmare as the boss takes down tower number 1. The keep will not last long. Good cleanse. And they just cleanse onto LOK, keeping him alive. He is required for this defense, but they have to do something. And BTG, time is running out. Second Stallbot does not land, though. That's good news, but with Garrosh not here, how are they meant to stop this? Voss starts burning down the shield, and Kendrick, unless the miracle can happen, this looks like it might be it, as with Wind Tunnel, the core begins to go down.
Yeah, the boss alone could have probably taken it down already at this stage of the game. Misaka doesn't even care what's going on behind him. He's had enough of taking kills and baiting stuff, right? He just wanted to end this game right here, right now. And although it was Beyond the Game who chose that Battleground Braxis holdout, it was unfortunately them who had to pay the bills.
And SPT take game number 1 in Lucha? Mooching fashion, as you said, with BTG
Lucha
paying
Libre.
all those bills. Lucha fashion, yes. Unfortunately, Garrosh was on the other team, and he will die. But they were able to take game number 1. Nicely done by SPT. That immediately means that BTG are guaranteed to finish in 4th place for when we head into the playoffs. Meaning that if anyone who comes from below them, A-Team, Team Nut, RPG, or KT, can beat Beyond the Game, then Beyond the Game won't be going to the Eastern Clash.
Thatcher, speaking of Lucha Libre and, wrestling, what is today's t-shirt looking like on your end?
Oh, I'm just part of the Cesaro section. Repping some European wrestling this time. Cesaro, the Swiss Superman or the Swiss Cyborg, as his nicknames are. Because
don't tell me he's entering the ring
nicknames.
in metal pants.
No, he is not. He's just a really big bald man. But I thought I would rep this because, for starters, he is well known for having the one of the best work rates in all of the scene, like just throwing on quality matches every single time. So I thought wearing this for HGC China would be very appropriate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Chinese fans would love the color of that shirt already. Chat doesn't seem to be too excited about Cesaro, though.
Ooh, what's up with Cesaro?
Oh, man.
Right. Why are you gonna hate Cesaro? Like, I was really disappointed when he joined the tag team. Turns out the bar is absolutely fantastic. And I have no intention of wearing a Roman Reigns shirt, thank you very much, unless, of course, they actually start writing him well.
Do you have a Hulk Hogan shirt?
I do not, and I do not intend on getting one because I do not support people who say racist things.
Okay, fair enough. That's a good point. Double thumbs up on that.
Hurrah! So there we go. That shut down that conversation real quick as we wait to see what the next map will be and who got MVP.
All right, MVP. If I had to pick one, it would be hard to find one, to be honest, because it was such a clutch, such a good team effort by SPT. So I don't know, man. Maybe Soap, maybe Misaka. Actually, Misaka, like, he baited those engages onto him every single time. He had immaculate positioning there. Always the first target for Beyond the Game to you basically collapse on. I don't know, man. Melody C on that Sergeant Hammer also played pretty well. I think he had a couple of nice escapes. Who would you be? Who would yours be?
It's got to be one of the two globals. I'm going to give it over to Soap, I think. I think his rotations were... Like, obviously, false sets were quicker, and they really set up for Soap to get the executions, but he was still able to burrow down and just get all of the main setup kills. So I'm going to lean over for Soap this time.
Yeah, and I'm cool with that. I mean, Soap very rarely disappoints these days, right? He hardly drops any games all by himself. Like, he's looking super strong at the moment. If I had to choose or build up my own Chinese all-star team, I think I would probably go for him or KTY on that offlaner role. After witnessing KTY, to be honest, it would probably be him, though.
Over Hugo?
It's man.
Tough because I could not make that decision either.
I don't know. It's so hard to say. Like, can we have a melee assassin Hugo, an offlaner KTY, and a main tank? Is that possible?
Can we just have a team of solo laners, please? Is that okay? Can we only play... Oh, they picked Arthur's. This is bad. How do we not ban this? As we see SPT... Sorry, I'm just playing out that little thing in my head now.
Yeah.
As SPT, 17 kills to 3, 4 forts to 1. That's all of the forts and keeps taken by SPT. Nice job. Game number 1 in their favor.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if... like, Beyond the Game certainly didn't expect this, right? But on the other hand... If they are the ones to pick Braxis, then you need to also be aware of the fact that there could be a Sergeant Hammer. And every single time we've seen Sergeant Hammer and Brexus up to this point, even on other maps, it looked like a lot of Chinese teams struggled with that. So I'm actually amazed and surprised to see that Sergeant Hammer doesn't get banned more often, because it feels like even teams that quote-unquote aren't really as favored as their opponents can still get away with a mighty good performance when they play Sergeant Hammer.
I mean, it does get banned a lot, but I can still see what you are getting at
Yeah.
here. And for now, though, we are heading to the Tomb of the Spider Queen as the final map for this particular series. This, remember, ladies and gentlemen, is our 4th series of the day of our final week, which means one